Transfer news Liv. Liverpool want Carvalho as Spurs eye Kessie swoop. Transfer news Liv. Liverpool are targeting a move for Fabio Carvalho, but could face a whole host of competition for prolific Fulham's teenage star. Tottenham are said to be pondering a bid for AC Milan's Frank Kessie this month as they look to avoid a summer bidding war for the Ivorian midfielder. Meanwhile, Ousmane Dembele is set to be sold by Barcelona as soon as possible after refusing to sign a new contract at the Camp Nou. Arsenal are still pushing for two new signings to bolster their Champions League qualification push, with Dusan Vlahovic and Arthur Melo key targets as the January transfer window heats up. Sponsored The Gunners have held more talks with Juventus over Arthur in a bid to find a loan solution, but remain frustrated over Vlahovic despite claims they are willing to make him one of the highest paid players in world football. Chelsea once again appear to be shooting admiring glances at Barcelona, with reports over Gavi following links to the likes of Sergiño Dest and Frenkie de Jong. Meanwhile, Barca are said to be in advanced talks with Andreas Christensen. Meanwhile, Tottenham are said to be considering a potential swap deal involving Wantaway record signing Tanguy Ndombele and Roma midfielder Jordan Veretout. Cristiano Ronaldo, not happy about being sub-bet off at Brentford last night, could leave Manchester United if they do not return to Europe's top table next season. United have rejected an offer from Newcastle to take Jesse Lingard on loan. Follow today's latest transfer news, rumors and gossip with Standard Sports live blog below. Tottenham are weighing up a January move for AC Milan midfielder Frank Kessie, reports suggest. Serie A-based Kessie has been mentioned in connection with Spurs since the arrival of managing director Fabio Paratici last summer, with those links only getting stronger following the hiring of Antonio Conte as manager. Now the Telegraph report that Tottenham could swoop for the in-demand Kessie before the deadline in order to avoid being dragged into a bidding war in the summer when his contract at the San Siro expired. It seems that Spurs are particularly worried about rival interest from Paris Saint-Germain in the Ivorian. Watford boss Claudio Ranieri has confirmed the club are working to sign Bordeaux winger Samuel Kalou and are also interested in Liverpool defender Nathaniel Phillips, writes Simon Collings. A deal for Kalou is thought to be at an advanced stage, with Watford ready to pay around £3 million for the Nigerian. The 24-year-old will bolster the Hornets' options out wide, which have been hit following an injury to Ismail Assar. It is not closed 100%, and for this reason I said, if the club think he is good for us, for now, for the future, we are ready to train with him, said Ranieri, when asked about interest in Kalou. Watford have signed 3 players already this month to bolster their squad as they bid to stay in the Premier League. Further reinforcements could arrive, and Ranieri has confessed he is fan of Liverpool defender Phillips, who is also being tracked by West Ham. "Look, I like Phillips a lot," he said. "Now, we are very full of defenders. But until the end of the market everything could happen, and I have an open mind, and I'm an open man. If someone arrives who can help us, I appreciate that." Liverpool are among a host of clubs eyeing Fulham star Fabio Carvalho, reports suggest. The talented Portuguese teenager has notched back-to-back braces for the dominant championship leaders, who are the first English side in 88 years to score 6 or more goals in 3 consecutive matches. However, Carvalho is out of contract at Craven Cottage in the summer and is attracting admiring glances from multiple suitors. That number includes Liverpool, according to the Liverpool Echo, who say there has been no contact with Fulham, but that chief scout Barry Hunter watched the 6-2 demolition of Bristol City on January 15. New regulations capping the number of international loans in and out at any club are set to come into force in July, FIFA has said, report Pa Sport. The new rules, drawn up with the intention of helping to develop young players, improve competitive balance and prevent the hoarding of players, were originally due to be implemented in July 2020 but were delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Provided the regulations are given final approval by the FIFA Council, between July 1, 2022 and June 30, 2023 clubs will be limited to a maximum of 8 international loan signings in and 8 loaned out, dropping to 7 in 2023-24 and remaining at 6 from 2024 to 25. The rules do not cover domestic loans, but FIFA has said national associations must bring their regulations in line within 3 years, so by July 1, 2025 at the latest. Chelsea currently list 21 players as being out on loan on their website, with 8 of those at clubs outside England. The changes are part of a wider reform of the transfer system which FIFA instigated in 2017. The regulations also include the requirement for a written agreement defining the terms of the loan, The introduction of minimum and maximum loan terms, from 1 window to 1 year, a limit on the number of loans per season between the same clubs, 3 in, 3 out, and a prohibition on sub-loaning to a third club. Luis Suarez is targeting one more stint in Europe, with a move back to the Premier League not ruled out at this stage. That is according to the Daily Mail, who say that Suarez, 35 next week, wants another club on this continent before potentially finishing his illustrious, oft-controversial career alongside Lionel Messi in America's MLS. The veteran striker has slipped down the pecking order under Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid and has been linked with a sensational reunion with former Liverpool teammate Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa, who recently loaned another ex-Reds star from that era in Felipe Coutinho. Here are those quotes in full from Barcelona director Mateu Alemany, who told Barca TV today that Ousmane Dembele must leave the club immediately. The reality is that we began negotiations with his agents 5 months ago. During this time there has been continuous communication in which the club's position has been to want him to continue, he said. Different offers have been made to him. We worked really hard and put a lot of effort. We have done enough for the player to consider what he has to do with his future. We are 11 days away from the closing of the transfer window, and we understand that the player has decided not to continue, and what we want are players committed to Barca. Both for his sake and for the club he has to leave as soon as possible. When Antonio Conte spoke last week about the desperate need to get his injured players back to breathe new life into Tottenham's season, Steven Bergwijn's name did not immediately spring to mind, writes Malakuzia. The defensive solidity of Eric Dyer and Christian Romero has been more sorely missed, so too the balance and thrust offered by Sergio Reguilón down the left and the irreplaceable attacking talents of Heung-min Son. In fact, given interest from Ajax, who have failed with a £15 million opening bid for the Dutchman already this month, it seemed that, if Bergwijn was to be making a defining contribution to anyone's season anytime soon, it would more likely be in the land of tulips, windmills and clogs than in Leicester. Yet here he was, sent off the bench at the King Power on his first appearance since Boxing Day on a rescue mission, Spurs undeservedly trailing to goals from Patson Daka and James Maddison, despite Harry Kane's 250th career club goal, 18 of them coming in just 17 appearances against the Foxes. Bergwijn's impact was more immediate and more significant than even Conte could have hoped, the forward scoring an equalizer in the 95th minute and then, less than 2 minutes later as time ran out, a famous winner as well. Click here to read the full article. Belated official confirmation from Arsenal of Pablo Marí's loan switch to Udinese.